Hey guys, Tierra here with Dot Girl Fitness, and in today's video, I'm taking you along for a week in the life on this vlog. So we're starting this week's vlog out pretty early in the morning. It's around 5:45 a.m. I am just now finishing up on getting ready. I usually leave around 6 a.m., but I'm leaving a little bit sooner today because I'm on call. Now, this call shift is a little bit different than some of my other call shifts that I've had on other rotations, and I'll explain that a little bit later when I have some more free time. But part of this call rotation involves me switching out with the Volt and the pager pretty early in the morning, and I don't want to keep the person who's been on call for the last 24 hours waiting too long. So I'm about to go meet up with them and then I'll get my day started. So I'm gonna go ahead and head out of here, and I will try and keep you updated throughout the day. And when I get some free time later, I'll give you the structure of what this rotation that I'm currently on looks like, and then also what this call shift looks like and why those two things are completely separate from each other. And then afterwards, we'll just see what else we can get done this week. All right, let's go. All right, guys, so I've just gotten the pager and I've gotten the Volt from the person who was on call overnight. So that's related to my call shift. My call shift is as the subspecialty supervisor. So in that role, I am supervising the different subspecialties on campus, including the renal service, the pulmonary medicine service, as well as neurology and endocrinology. Now, my role as the subspecialty supervisor is very peripheral, meaning that I don't really do much between the hours of like 6:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. directly, because those subspecialties have a fellow who is there with the interns, and they also have an upper level resident on each of those rotations. I'm just there kind of like as a backup and a support during those hours. And another part of that role is that I carry a pager, and during that time period, if there is a code or if there is a rapid response team page, I will go to those as well. I'm not the only one who's receiving those pages, but once again, I'm just there as support and backup in case they need any assistance with any of those procedures. So I have my Volt, I have my pager. One other job in this role is to respond to mommy calls, meaning parents of children within the surrounding area have access to this pager 24/7. And so if they have a question or a concern about their child and they want to see whether or not it can be answered quickly or if it needs to be addressed with presentation to the ER, I can give them a little bit of that guidance. And if I feel like I need help with that guidance, then I can reach out to an attending if need be. So the person who was on call overnight received a really last minute mommy call page, and I told her I would go ahead and respond to that. So I'm going to respond to that now, and then I'm going to pre-round on the patients for the rotation that I'm on, which is separate from the call shift. So my rotation is newborn. So in this role, I'm a supervisor, and I am basically overseeing 2 first-year residents, and we see patients in the mother baby unit and make sure that they're doing well and get them all set up to go home and make sure everything is okay with them in the first few days of life. So I'm going to respond to this mommy page. I'm going to eat breakfast, and I'm going to pre-round on my patients, and then rounds will start in about an hour or so. And for anyone who's wondering, usually I'll try and make breakfast at home, but especially whenever I'm on a call shift, I try and make sure I get extra protein. And so it's usually some variation of this, just 2 servings of egg whites and some turkey sausage. And then I always get a matcha soy latte and then a bottle of water, because you got to stay hydrated. Hey guys, you may hear some background noises, and if you do, That just comes with the territory since I'm still in the hospital for the rest of my call shift. The day was really busy, but really fun, as it always is. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on a newborn service for that rotation that I'm on. And as part of that, I serve in a supervisory role, and I have 2 first-year residents who I work with who will see the patients, and I just kind of help supervise them and guide them into how to manage newborn babies and how to give good anticipatory guidance to families of these newborns. So that went really, really well. We had a great day. Saw a lot of babies. This is a really busy time in our hospital for deliveries. So we did that, and now that shift is over, and I'm moving into the rest of my shift, which is related to what I mentioned earlier, which is my 24-hour call shift. And as I mentioned, in that role, I'm still in a supervisory role, but I'm the subspecialty supervisor. And now that it is after 4 o'clock, I serve a little bit bigger of a role. So as I mentioned, there are fellows who are specializing in those different subspecialties who have direct contact with the residents on those services during the day. And they are on call overnight, but they go home and do home call. And so as the subspecialty supervisor on call in-house, I become that person who's available for them during the day in the hospital while they're in the hospital as well. For those residents who are on a late stay shift staying here till 7 p.m. or the residents who come in overnight and are in the hospital from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So usually around this time, what I do is I come to the call room, and I'll make sure to give you guys a tour of it in a second, but I'll come to the call room and I'll get my stuff situated, and then I'll go downstairs and try and be present for a little bit of the sign out of each of the subspecialty teams. It's literally impossible to be there for all of the sign outs at the same time because they're all in different places in the hospital, and those sign outs are monitored and watched over by the supervisor or the upper level for each of those different rotations, as well as the fellow for those different subspecialties. So that's fine, but just to make sure I have a better understanding of how things went during the day, I learn about patients who I need to be watching more closely during the nighttime, and I learn more about whether or not there are direct admissions, seeing as how, as the subspecialty supervisor, I will be the person who helps staff those admissions. Now, the resident who is taking care of those patients, they will staff them or basically bill them with a fellow or with an attending on that subspecialty. But as the subspecialty supervisor and the only person who's monitoring the subspecialties who is in-house other than the intern for that subspecialty, I go and I see those direct admissions as well. I make sure that the patients are stable and safe. I help the intern come up with a plan of action that they will then present to the fellow or the attending, and I write a note on those patients as well, a supervisory note. So I like to go around this time and see if there's any direct admissions coming, so I know ahead of time what patients I need to be looking out for, and I better understand why they're being admitted. For those of you who don't know what a direct admission is, it is basically when you're directly admitted to the hospital from a clinic. There's typically only a couple of different ways where you can be admitted to the hospital, and the more common one is being admitted through the ER, where you present to the ER with a complaint or symptom or multiple symptoms, and then it is the decision of the team that's in the ER as well as the team that the patient would potentially be admitted to, that they come together and decide this patient needs to be treated in the inpatient setting in a hospital. That team that's on the inpatient side then accepts the patient as an admission, and the patient is then admitted to their service and comes up to that service. That's the more common way of being admitted to the hospital. But another way that a patient can be admitted is if they see a subspecialist in a clinic, and at that clinic appointment, they just don't really look safe to go home. Now, that clinic provider can either say, okay, I need you to leave clinic now and go to the ER to be further evaluated, or if they know already that it's a very specific issue that is specific to that subspecialty and they already know what they're going to do ahead of time, they'll go ahead and admit directly to their service. Another reason why a patient may be directly admitted is if it's a planned admission. Let's say a patient has kidney problems that require very frequent monitoring of their kidneys. If they're going through any kind of procedure or anything like that, well then, if they have, let's say, a surgery and they haven't had the surgery yet, they would be admitted to the renal or the kidney doctor service to be monitored and to have them on board for the medications that will be administered, make sure there's nothing that will damage the kidneys, and so they can be monitored. And then once they've had the surgery, then they'll be transitioned over to being a primary patient of the surgery service. You can really get into the weeds with this, and sometimes it's very hospital dependent which services take care of which patients, and that's another discussion for another day. But as it relates to our hospital and how we manage patients on the floors with the direct admissions, for any of the patients that have been directly admitted, there's a couple of different things that could be the cause of the direct admission. It could be planned, or the patient could have come to the clinic, didn't look too well, and there's some things that they already know about the patient, maybe based off of labs they got in the hospital that don't need to be reevaluated in the ER or anything else, and they already know, you know what, just directly admit this patient to our service. So I'm gonna go right now, check in on the interns and see what that's about. After that, I'm gonna come back here and have dinner. I went ahead and ordered dinner. Usually I'll have dinner at the hospital, but I wanted something different, so I ordered sweet green, and I'm really excited about that salad. And I'm gonna come back and eat, and I have to be done with all of that by about 6:30, because at 6:30, all of the first year residents, no matter what service they're on, they're gonna come to the hospital 30 minutes before their shift and meet with me, and we do a teaching session where myself as the subspecialty supervisor, I go over a case presentation that's unique but also very important to keep in mind the nuances of, because they relate to different problems that you could deal with on a night shift. We kind of go over how your plan of care may have to change based off of who's in house versus who isn't in the middle of the night, who to call. We just go over things like that for the first 30 minutes that they're at the hospital before their shift starts. So I'll have to go back downstairs at that point for that interaction, for that lesson. And then after that, I'll come back up here, and depending on how many direct admissions there are, I may immediately go downstairs and start seeing patients and start seeing some of those direct admissions. Or if it is really laid back, I want to try and take advantage of that and maybe get some board studying done before I get ready to try and fall asleep. And keep in mind, this whole time, I still also have my pager on me, so some other things I may be doing in the meantime are answering the mommy calls that I talked with you guys about earlier today, or I may also be trying to respond to any rapid responses or any codes that may come up. So busy. We'll get through it. I'm excited about it. These shifts are really fun, so I'm excited to keep it going. And here is a view of the hospital room. As you can see, it is a beautiful room, nice and simple. Most important thing, a call room bed. We have a little desk where I usually just put my pager and my phone, so they're always really close by. We have lots of outlets, and then we have some sitting chairs. We have a nice big window, and then some call rooms come with a TV, but this one doesn't, but that's okay because I always bring my laptop with me. I usually like to spend this time trying to be productive in the time before I fall asleep on my call shift, so I usually will use my laptop for that. And if I'm not using it for that, then I may pop up something on YouTube. But this is it. All right, so some time has passed, a few hours have passed. I went back and I talked to the interns, and there were no direct admissions, but the interns did have some questions about efficiency and how to manage some patients that were on the floor. So I stayed down there to help them with that. And then after that, I decided to just walk some laps downstairs just so I could get some steps in for the day and try and hit a step count of about 10,000 steps for the day. So I did that while I waited for the evening time educational session with the interns that would be arriving for their evening shift. And I just finished up up with that. So I'm about to eat. I ordered some sweet green. I still haven't eaten it yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat that. And then maybe I can try and work on some board studying for the rest of the night before I go to bed.
Oh, look at this salad, y'all. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I'm excited to eat this and then get started on everything. I just thought it just looked too pretty to not share with y'all. Comes with a free slice of bread, but oh my gosh, look how good that looks. Yum!
Hey guys, so I just finished eating. That meal was delicious. And I changed into a sweatshirt just to get a little bit more comfortable. And I am about to get started on some board review. Now there's only so much I can do from a call room, but I've really been enjoying using MedStudy because even though I'm working from a call room, I still have digital access to a lot of my study materials. And I think this is just such a great way, even when I'm on a busy rotation, to stay motivated and to stay focused on my board preparation. So I'm probably just gonna do some flashcards, some digital flashcards now. And then depending on how the night goes, if I'm able to sleep a little bit, then I'll probably continue on and do some of the digital Q&A and some course review tomorrow morning. Morning, guys. It's around 4:30 a.m. My shift isn't over yet. I still have about 2.5 hours left, but I got some texts from one of the interns about a patient that they wanted to talk through, and so I'm up right now. I just looked over that patient's chart and kind of talked through the plan with the intern, and it was nice. It was nice. She works really hard to come up with a very detailed plan, and after reviewing the patient with her and talking it over, we came up with a plan that she felt comfortable talking to the fellow of that subspecialty about, the one who's on call at home. And it's just nice. She just sent me a message after we talked everything through, and she said she was really grateful and that she felt really comfortable now. And it just makes me happy to know that I was able to help put her at ease and we could come up with a plan that she was confident in doing on her own. So I was sleeping before then, so I got maybe like 4-ish hours of sleep. My shift ends in 2.5 hours, like I said, so I think I have time to get at least a couple more hours in between now and the end of my shift, so I'm gonna try and do that. But I just wanted to update you about that. All right, guys, shift is over. It's around 7 a.m., so packed up all of my stuff up, and I'm about to go meet with the person who's on call today to give them their things. And usually I'm like a little bit more energized after a shift, but I'm pretty tired, so I think I'm just gonna go to sleep. Good morning, guys. I just turned in the Volt, which is our work phone, and the pager to the person who's going to be on call during the day today. And I perked up a little bit more after kind of walking to the parking garage and interacting with some people for the morning. I probably will take a nap at least. I got maybe like 5-ish hours of sleep last night, so I will probably take a nap at some point. But my husband is on break, like a holiday break from work, and usually when I'm post-call, I just go back home and like I'll make some breakfast in the kitchen and then go to bed. But since he's off, we thought it would be a great opportunity to connect and go sit down somewhere. So we're gonna go to IHOP and just chat and catch up. And then after that, I will probably come home, get a little bit of rest, and then try and get my day started. Hey guys! So, since the last time you saw me, I have a nice full belly. I took a really good nap. I've showered, I've woken up, and now that I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I'm ready to get some things done. Today is my post-call day, and because it's a post-call day, I don't work again until tomorrow morning. So, I got several hours of sleep. It's around 2 p.m., and I feel ready to kind of get some work done before I start just relaxing for the evening. So it's the perfect time to take advantage of the beautiful day, the beautiful time of day, and a nice quiet house to get to work on my studies. So I mentioned a little bit to you about the MedStudy flashcards yesterday, but Today, since I have more time, I plan on doing a little bit more detailed of a review of the board study materials. So part of that involves reviewing the syllabus. I got the MedStudy package that includes the video course as well as the Q&A, the syllabus, and then the flashcards. Whenever I'm out and about and I have some free time here and there, but I don't really have a lot of time to dedicate to my studies in a moment, I usually head straight for the flashcards because it's just so simple and convenient and a really good way to get my mind going without needing materials nearby. Whenever I really want to get down to business and I want to immerse myself in a lot of board prep materials and I have a couple of hours to myself to do it, I pull out the syllabus and I will review the syllabus while also going through the course review. And then after that, or sometimes before that, I'll do some Q&A questions. I feel like that has been so beneficial to me. It's not only helping me to prepare for my boards, which I'll take next fall, but it's also helping out with my current rotations because it keeps everything really fresh in my brain. And I feel like I'm much more prepared for my rotations as I'm going through them. So I'm going to review some of the syllabus now and get started on a little bit of video course review. And then afterwards, I may try and meet up with some friends, or I may just rest for the rest of the afternoon. Hey guys, so a lot has happened since the last time we chatted. I think the last clip is coming from whenever I was studying using my MedStudy materials. I got so much done, I was really productive, and then I rested for the rest of the day. And then today's actually the next day. I went to work today and it was actually really busy. So the way that things work at my residency program, the upper level residents switch off to a new block on the Wednesday after the interns end on that Friday. So the interns I've been working with for this entire month, their last day was today, which made me really sad because I really enjoyed working with them. But in addition to it being their last day, because the new interns start on Monday and I will be post-call on Monday, they had the interns that I will be working with on Monday come in on today, Friday, so I could help orient them for the next week. And we also had a huge influx of patients on this newborn service, as a lot of elective inductions, meaning families who elect to have their labor induced to allow for an earlier birth. The women and the families who qualified for this, they all wanted to have their babies before the start of the new year. And so it made the census really go up, which was fun and it was really exciting. And it's always such a blessing and such an honor to be a baby's first doctor and one of the first people to ever hold them and take care of them. But it definitely made for a really busy and chaotic day. So I oriented the new interns. I said my goodbyes to the old interns. I came back home. I got some exercising done. And now I'm about to relax and get going on a nice, relaxing evening as we prepare for the new year. As we're heading into the new year, and since this video actually will be published and posted on New Year's Day, I thought it would be nice to chat with you all about some of the things I'm interested in really prioritizing this upcoming year. Since I am starting fellowship this upcoming summer, it's really important to me to make sure I'm as prepared as possible, not only for fellowship, but also for my boards, because I will be taking those boards only 3 months into my fellowship. So I am really going to be cracking down using MedStudy around the clock whenever I have opportunities outside of work and my time at home with my family. In addition to that, I want to try and make the most of the time that I have here with the friends that I've really developed true friendships with in residency, as well as the friends and family that I have in the local area and close by. So I definitely plan on prioritizing a lot of that this year. Something that I plan on prioritizing for myself is my health and fitness journey. I've talked with you all a little bit about that a couple of videos back where I mentioned how I've had about a 15-pound weight loss so far, but I've been kind of stagnant since then, and I have so much more journey left to go, and I'm so excited to get started on it. It actually leads me to the next point that you guys should tune in to next week's video, because I will be showing off one of the huge ways that I am really looking forward to prioritizing my health and fitness this year, and the changes I've made to my home to allow me to start doing that. So make sure to tune into that video next week. But that's one thing that is probably going to be one of the top things on my list for the year, as I'm heading into a new aspect of life and I'm prioritizing the career that I'm going into, gastroenterology, hepatology, and nutrition. I feel like it's only right that I prioritize those things for myself and make this health and fitness journey a true lifestyle, and something that not only will lead to changes in how I look, but also, most importantly, changes in how I feel. And hopefully those changes that I make can inspire others to make the same changes as well. So if it's something you're interested in and you want to go along with this journey with me, let me know in the comment section below, and I'm excited to make more content about that. Finally, something I'm super looking forward to this year is just being more intentional in my home life, intentional in my relationships, intentional in my health and fitness journey, intentional in my studies, and intentional in my career. Intentionality, I think, is going to be my word for the new year, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out. What are some of your New Year's resolutions? I'm so excited to hear about them, and I'd love it if you could let me know what they are in the comment section below. As for this week's vlog, I think it's coming to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching a little bit of the half end of the week of my life. I hope that you guys are resting and enjoying a great New Year's Day. And as always, if you liked this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or you just want to chat, make sure to let me know in the comments section below. And if you like videos about medicine, lifestyle, and fitness, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.